They made more than $100,000 on this sale. I thought I just picked a random one that was going to show that they were making money. Holy crap. Do you guys remember iBuyers? Back in the COVID days, there was like companies like Zillow, Redfin, Open Door, OfferPad that were just going out there and just buying houses way more expensive than they're worth, jacking up the price and selling them for $50,000 more, and just was making this housing market insane. And we were all laughing at their demise when in late 2022, early 2023, they were taking massive losses. What if I were to tell you one of these companies are not only making a comeback, but they're actually making money again? That's right. Homeowners are selling their houses a lot cheaper to these companies, and they're selling them for a lot more, and they're actually selling them. People are buying them. What company am I talking about today? Open Door. Let's look at it. So Open Door caught my attention when I saw this article. Open Door stock just shot up. I don't know if anyone follows the stock market here, but Open Door just gained all this value out of nowhere, and people were like, what's going on? And it made me think like, why? But they're not buying houses still, are they? And then literally that same week, I'm out showing properties, and there I see another Open Door listing. So that made me very curious, and I looked up their houses for sale in Phoenix, Arizona. I was pleased and surprised there's only 770 houses for sale, and out of like the 9,000 houses for sale, this is barely a dent. But the problem with this, back in the day, they used to have hundreds and they were a pretty big market share. So this doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. But when we start looking at the specific numbers in these listings, this is where it gets a little more concerning. But they have 72 houses that are currently under contract. And in the past 31 days, they have closed approximately 112. So 300-ish sales. Okay, not that amazing growth, but are they actually making good money on these deals? Well, here, check this out. If we look at their pending numbers and we find, just pull up any of them. I'm just going to pick a super random one. Here's a great looking one in Chandler, currently under contract. It only took them 16 days to sell. Can anyone take a wild guess what they bought this house for? Remember, this is the same company that only 6 months ago, they were like selling houses for like, I don't know, 400,000 that they bought for like 515. They were taking like over 6-figure losses. They purchased this property only less than a month ago, June 16th, for approximately $412,000. And they're under contract for $500,000. Now remember, if it says that they bought it for $412,000, but they have like 6 to 9% worth of fees. So really their take home pay is usually like 10% less than that. So they probably purchased it in the high 300s. So they're making close to 6 figures on this one deal. Javier, surely, they're pending. There's no way it can go through. Let's look at the last, 10 days of sales and see if we can find actual specific numbers. I'm going to be careful here because these are houses that have been bought by people. Here's an officially closed house by them. $630,000 was the price they sold it for. They did originally list it at $670,000, but they got someone to pay $630,000 for it cash. They probably thought they got an amazing deal on it, right? Well, check this out. They only bought this house May 5th for $573,000. Once again, once their numbers, they actually probably bought it for $550,000. So why is this a big deal? Well, if you remember, Open Door is super lazy. All they do is they buy the property, they give people a modern experience by being very friendly and techy and, oh wow, I'm really cool. And then they get the house from them. Do you think they remodeled it? Do you think they like refinish it? They put a brand new AC in it? No, they do a very, very simple cleaning. Occasionally they do a painting if they're forced to by like the HOA or something like that. And then they put it back on the market for a more expensive number. So this house that sold for $630,000 to a cash buyer, the previous seller could have easily put this on the market for $650,000, and they could have easily made an additional $50,000 to $100,000 in profit. Really, Open Door is just an overglorified wholesaler that are buying properties, putting them a little more money on top of it, and selling them. So it's pretty concerning that even in this environment where interest rates are super high and the housing market crash, doom and gloom is just every corner of every like YouTube video out there, there's still investors like this that are going out there and they're still profiting. Is this a one-time thing? Well, let's just pick out another random one. Here's a one that they sold for $515,000. They listed it for $525,000. So whoever bought it, think they got a heck of a deal by getting it $10,000 cheaper. But what did Open Door buy it for? $402,000. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They bought it for more than $100,000 less than what they sold it for. Are iBuyers back? Unfortunately, yes. And they seem to have no indication that they're slowing down. According to this article that was released maybe 3 days ago, that Zillow and Redfin give up on flipping houses, but the Open Door CEO says they're committed to the model. Nothing about our model has changed. The macro is uncertain, but real estate isn't going away. People are still moving. So nothing about our actual focus and mission has changed. We're focused on making sure that we're going to leave the cycle better than we came into it. They're going leaner and meaner. They laid off 22% of their workforce, but they're still out here. Sellers, I know you hate realtors. I get it. Realtors suck. But do not sell your house to these corporations that are just going to flip it, but not even flip it. They're not even adding any value to it, to another buyer just because they have the ability to hold on to it longer. This is what caused our values to go up significantly higher, because that $400,000 that you sold it for, it could have gone to just a normal buyer and they would have bought the house and they could afford where they live. But now there's a $500,000 buyer living there, and it's just, I'm like getting too heated here. I need to take a break. Let's not give these corporations houses. Please, they have a lot of houses already. Let's keep them homeless. I don't mean homeless like they're on the street, but I mean, let's keep corporations out of housing, please. Open Door, all of them, no buying. So I have a challenge for all of you guys. Please go check on your local records, see if Open Door, see if Zillow, Redfin, these iBuyers, we have to keep an eye out. We cannot let these corporations start buying up houses again. We don't need them inflating up values of already inflated values. I made a video at the beginning of the year where I basically talk about all the predictions everybody had about the housing market. So it's always good to go look back at that video just to see what Zillow and all the Redfin and Realtor.com and what all these companies thought was going to happen to the housing market. So go watch that video again to see if we're on track to that or if we've adjusted to that. Because no one can predict this stuff. Who knew Open Door was coming back? I certainly didn't.